G'day. We're going to talk about something different today. We're going to talk about the Dell Alienware Aurora R13. It's a gaming desktop computer. It's probably the best gaming desktop computer that Alienware has got currently at the moment as of recording of this. Now, it's got probably one of the most powerful parts that you can buy for gaming, which is the Intel 12th gen Intel core, which this one here has got the i9 in it, and also it has the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3090, which is, boy, is that fast. Now, you probably can spec this R13 with much lower components, but this one I've got here is the top of the line. We're gonna have a chat about the internal design as well as the airflow of the R13. Now, first off, we've got two intake fans at the front here, and they're 120 mils. And at the bottom here, fan here, you can see we've got a little bit of plastic sort of tunneling system. Now I'm going to take this out because it's pretty easy to take out, and so you can actually see what this is. And you can see it's more of like a grid system or a honeycomb system, the same as lights, where we're actually trying to direct, well, in this case, the air in one direction, which is trying to direct it to the graphics card, which you see right here. Now, we've also got the top one, which also tries to direct it to the processor, which is right here, and then that is connected to the radiator, and then of course we've got the exhaust fan. Now this is for to try and cool the liquid that's going to run through the radiator right down here. Now I'm going to and then we've also got another exhaust fan right up here. You can see again it's 120 mils, and the other thing you'll see is that the power supply is down at the bottom here rather than at the top, which you can see from some of the computers. But most of the time with desktop computers, we're starting to see a lot more power supplies at the bottom here. Now, this is a very slim line power supply rather than your really large ones that I would see that you buy from your computer shop. So these are priority. Now, I'm just going to give a nice simple way of doing this. Now, I am going to put a bit of load onto this computer first, just to get the airflow going. So just give me a second. I'm just going to boot up a load of things. I'm just especially putting a load on the graphics card because that's probably the ones that the loudest. And also you'll actually start seeing this get a little bit more air going through. So at the moment I've got the frame away from here, and we're going to just wait for this to heat up a little bit so we can get some of this. Okay, it's starting to, you can start to hear a little bit now as it's now starting to build up that load to try and heat up the graphics card and hopefully push these fans coming through. Now, one of the things that I do have noticed is that these intake fans, they don't really change much in speed wise, which is a bit of a pity because I think this is something that could be improved on. And I'm going to use a very, very basic way of doing this, and that's using a little tissue to try and give you an idea. Now, you'll see that really hasn't changed too much. I'm just trying to so it doesn't suck into a fan. But as this gets more load, the front doesn't really get any more air inwards than if it's on idle. So it's the same all the way through. So this is something that Dell could have a look at improving, is the ability to change the speed of the intake fans so we can actually match up to the exhaust fans as well. Now the exhaust fans does change in speed, and you will actually hear that off later on, and pretty much the airflow will actually go from here towards the back and also up towards the top here for the exhaust. And here is where some of the things come apart. Now in the graphics card world, there are two types of ways for the fans to run off. We've got the first way, which is the Founders Edition. You'll see it's called a blower style, and the actual graphics card is completely encased with the fans inside. And then what the graphics cards try to do is intake air from the bottom, and then pushes it out to the back of the computer or back of the graphics card. In this other case is the second scenario where it actually takes the air in and then pushes to the sides. And now we've got a bit of load on this, as you can hear, so I'm trying to get it out of the way. But you'll start to see, now hopefully this doesn't suck in the thing, but you'll start to see the tissues trying to get sucked in underneath here for where the airflow, and this up top here is getting a little bit of air coming out, and you'll start to feel the air come through, and then you'll see how far this airflow is coming, pushing out from more of the side. Now, seeing that's coming from this here, there is actually nothing that's helping this section here to draw the air out. It has to travel somehow that way to come out, and there's no fan at the back here to help it out. This could be something that could be looked. It would be a very small fan, but it's something that could be either directed towards the back this way for the air to flow back out through this way here. But as you come through here, and you'll start to see some air coming from the back here as well too. And of course at the back here, you'll start to feel not very much, but it's a very, this fan up the top here doesn't really change too much neither, I find. So it's like the front fan, it doesn't really change in speed. So these two fans here could be improved by actually having a bit of the ability to change the speed of the RPMs for the fan with the exhaust and intake. The other thing you will see is, that I like to see, is that the power supply here is quite up close towards the graphics card, which is the intake fan. Now, I've actually did a previous video about a Precision 5820, a 5860, and what happened was the 3080 card was actually quite up against the graphics card, and all I wanted to do was move it up to the first slot, which actually improved the breathing ability, and I actually got a lot more better performance from the graphics card. And this is where the thing that could be improved is down here is just empty plastic space. Dell could actually try and push this and make this something different rather than have a metal frame like this, because they do design their own case itself. Being plastic here, this is really a waste of space that could be able to push this power supply further down to allow more breathing space for the graphics card. This card does need a lot of air to actually breathe, to actually cool down this graphics card when it is on load. So that's something you can see, and you'll see there's a lot of screws here, so you do need a screwdriver to actually take this thing apart, or just to move things or install things as well too. Now the good thing is, at least it's very easy to install a M.2 slot, so that's one good thing, but you only can have one graphics card in this computer here. Now, the other thing I'm going to talk about is about the RGB lighting. Now, as sweet as the RGB lighting at the front is, it's quite nice, and also, of course, with the processor and also the radiator fan is nice in RGB. One of the things I like to see is there is another RGB light that comes through this light bar at the top, which actually is quite nice, which says Alienware, but there's no lighting at the bottom here to the graphics card. So there's some little area that Dell could actually improve and add extra RGB lights down here, just to give it, because that is a very nice component that could be showcased off. The other thing I like to see as well, that I've seen on a few, especially on a lot of gaming laptops, is that you get RGB lights that's heading towards down onto the table or around to the sides. Now, this R13 does not have that. I think that would be nice to see if Dell can actually improve and add onto that, or even give options to add some RGB lights for the bottom down there. Just to give it a little bit more spice, I think it'll be definitely nice. So I took measurements of the fan noise for the R13. And when I took my measurements, my ambient room noise was 36 decibels. And I took my base measurement when the computer was on idle, and the fan noise was at 38 decibels. Then I put the computer in office productivity mode, which is just basically running Microsoft Office, and it pretty much ran at 38 decibels as well for the fan noise. So practically, you really don't hear too much from the fan. Then I put it in gaming mode, and the fan does run off, and it goes all up to a maximum of 55 decibels. And most of the time, it stays very consistent at 55 decibels most of the way through. Now, most of that 55 decibels is really coming from the graphics card rather than the case fan or the radiator fan, exhaust fans, as those are a lot more silent than what the graphics card fan, which is very consistent for this particular graphics card. Here is the results for the Aurora R13. This one's configured with an i9 12900KF processor with 32 gigs of RAM, 1TB SSD, and also the GeForce RTX 3090. Here is the gaming benchmarks for the different quality settings for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Far Cry New Dawn, Far Cry 6, Immortal Phoenix Rising, and F1 2021. Passmark, Citybench R23, PC Mark, 3D Mark, Geekbench 5, Crystal Disk Mark, Fusion Photoshop, Fusion Lightroom, Fusion Premiere Pro, Fusion After Effects, Fusion DaVinci Resolve, Procon Office, Procon Video Edit, Procon Photo Edit, Blender, LuxMark, Compute Bench, Octane Bench, and Spec View Prep. Comparing the results of the benchmarks, I can definitely see the performance from this R13 is quite high, and it does pretty much match what the components are, and especially that 12900 KF processor does extremely well. And of course, that RTX 3090 just is a powerhouse graphics card. Now, again, it can be improved in performance, but still, it does match with the average of what our RTX 3090 can do. Even after talking about the components that could be optimized and improved, the Alienware Aurora R13 is a very high ultra performance for pre-built gaming desktop computer. And those are the key words, pre-built desktop gaming computer. Dell will provide a solution for those who just want to hassle-free and just get the best gaming computer that money can buy without having to go to the local computer shop and try and work out what they need to do or even build it themselves. They'll give you those people a solution, and it comes with warranty as well for absolute fantastic. That could be on site as well. This is something that one of my peer reviewers, who's also an Aussie reviewer, Tally Ho, has said as well, agree that this is a great solution for those who just want a hassle-free and just want the best gaming computer that they can get their money without having to worry about all those other parts. And I hope you find this video informative or enjoyed it. Even if you support my channel, smash that like button for me. And if you haven't done already, subscribe to my channel by hitting that subscribe button on the screen. I do try uploading a new video every week. And as always, imperfections in life makes it beautiful and interesting. And I'll see you next video.